Happy October, Nightmare fans! Mwahaha! Hi everybody, it's Diandra here with Elm Street Radio. We have been very, very busy, especially with Fredheads, and that's been taking up a lot of time, but I really wanted to create this episode, and I promise you, I'm going to try and create more episodes like this. This is a special episode, actually kind of sparked today over lunch, and I've been thinking about it. It is ranking the A Nightmare on Elm Street films in terms of should you put them on a Halloween watch list this month. Now, for us Nightmare fans, we watch these films and everything about them all year. Same with horror movies in general and horror fans. We watch horror movies all year, every day. Horror is not a month, it is a lifestyle for us. And I know I'm falling behind because it just feels like another month, but it's super spoopy, and we love Halloween in any case. But if you're thinking about adding any of the Nightmare films to your list, what should you put on there? What should you consider putting on there, and why? Now, you could start from the beginning and watch all of them, but there's so many horror movies to watch that what if you were going to have one or two? What should you put on there, and what should you use to consider that? Well, there are a variety of factors. So that's what I've done. I have been debating about this list for quite some time, and I was thinking, what should we put on there? What really should be on this list? Well, people are going to disagree with me. So what? Maybe people will agree. I don't know. But hey, this is my list, and this is what I'm going to share with you that I came up with today. I finalized it, and here it goes. I'm going to go in reverse order for Nightmare films that you should have on your Halloween must-watch list. Here we go. Number 8. A Nightmare on Elm Street is, got a lot of films, but one of my beloved films, I know a lot of people love it too, still silly, is Freddys Dead, The Final Nightmare, Nightmare 6. I love this movie, and because I placed it last does not mean I love it any less. But if you're going to consider one Nightmare film to put on your Halloween list, I wouldn't recommend it being Freddys Dead, or I wouldn't say for it to be Freddys Dead, and here's why. Super silly. Not really that scary at all. Not really. But it's kind of the end, and they have some really cool deaths in there, including Robert's favorite death, which is Ricky Dean Logan, Carlos. Nice hearing from you, Carlos. And there are a lot of fun parts to it. So if you're going to watch this and make it your only Nightmare movie to watch during your 31 days of Halloween celebration, I would say this would probably be a beer and a popcorn kind of movie with a bunch of friends, and you just laugh the entire time at the movie. So expect it to be the comedic relief, not your scare factor. So, the last one on my list, but still lovable, is Freddys Dead, The Final Nightmare. Number 7, A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. Not my favorite Nightmare movie, but still dark. Creepy movie. It definitely has the elements of a Halloween movie because of that dark aspect and because it's not too serious. It's also kind of weird at the same time because a lot of people don't really care for it that much, and then there are people who do like it. Every time I watch it, I don't understand why I don't like that much, but I just don't. So, for a Halloween-y movie to add fun, dark, but all over the place, wouldn't exactly pick it as my one. Number 6, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddys Revenge. I love Freddys Revenge, and personal preference, it is the scariest Nightmare on Elm Street film. There, I said it. But that's me. A lot of people might think it's a little strange. A lot of people might not really enjoy it because it doesn't follow the classic formula of final girl fights monster and yada, yada, yada. That's part of the reason why I love it. But I'm a hardcore Nightmare on Elm Street fan, and I might be an exception. So it's super scary, and I think people will really enjoy that. Also fun in that aspect, but I don't know if it would be worthy of being the only one to put on a list for Halloween, especially if you're showing other people. Okay, totally take that back. Should not have said it's not worthy, because it is. But there are just certain elements to it that make it not the one I would necessarily put in the top 2. So, there it is, Freddys Revenge. Love it. Scary, but not towards the top of the list. Number 5. This was one that I debated on where to put it because it's my favorite, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Now, this has the formula to be a really, really good movie to watch during Halloween. In fact, I would definitely consider putting it on there. But the reason that I put my favorite Nightmare movie towards the middle ground is because it's not really Freddy. It takes in a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, I feel, to really, really appreciate this movie. Also somebody who really, really loves film because it's well made and well acted. Towards the end, it is a little silly, but it has a story to it. I sometimes feel like having a Halloween marathon isn't always about the story and the depth and the philosophy to it. It just is a fun or a scary movie that hits you in the right places during the Halloween season. So I would show anybody New Nightmare anytime during the year. Why just limit it to Halloween? You could show them some of the other movies maybe that you wouldn't show them in December. But I would show anybody New Nightmare in December on Christmas. I mean, hey, you could show any of these movies on Christmas because Freddy's got the Christmas sweater. So there it is. New Nightmare is my pick for number 5. Love you, New Nightmare. Number 4. Another one that I debated, but here it goes. Freddy versus Jason. Dude, this movie is so much effing fun. You've got Freddy and you've got Jason. 2 titans of terror collide in one movie. People are going to be watching Friday the 13th. People are going to be watching A Nightmare on Elm Street. Why not combine them into one? Again, another super awesome popcorn flick. When I sit down with my friends and they don't really know much about Nightmare or whatever, we just want to watch a horror movie and not make it too scary, I will probably select to show them Freddy versus Jason, even if they've seen it before, because it's just so much fun. It does have the modern element, so it appeals to the masses, but at the same time, it's an interesting movie to watch. I hate Laurie, but personal preference aside on that matter, it's it's a horror movie. It's like your generic, in a way, horror movie. Fun, funny, totally out there, pretty epic in the concept, but not towards the top of the list. Something to consider, though. Number 3, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. A popcorn flick, classic Freddy. Totally classic Freddy. A little bit more on the campy side, but still scary. Awesome special effects. The MTV, A Nightmare on Elm Street film. This is a film I think you could pretty much show anybody, fan or not, and they're just going to have a blast watching it, especially during the Halloween season. Again, one of those movies that can kind of be more on the fun side, but still lots of Freddy Krueger, which is what people love. It's why he became so iconic, because of Robert Englund's interpretation. Also, we've got Alice in there, a kick-ass final girl, and that'll be one of those cheering moments of people watching films. And I think if you're really going to show people why A Nightmare on Elm Street is so much fun and why you love it, you'll show them A Nightmare on Elm Street 4. It's one of those movies that you would definitely consider showing them for, hey, look how freaking awesome Freddy is. And I also love the relationships of the characters in this movie. So it's a great quote-unquote teen flick, fits right in with that 80s style, but still a little bit on the silly side, which brings me to our top two. Oh man, what are they going to be? Well, we've narrowed it down and we know the two that are left, but in what order are they going to be? I have my reasons for the following. So, spot 2 is A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors is the fan favorite. Great relationships between the characters in there. So beautiful in the way that the teenagers relate to each other. The absolute best relationship between teenagers happens in A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. And there's a reason why it's a fan favorite. There are all kinds of reasons. Of course, there's the return of Nancy, but even without knowing her backstory, she makes for a great character in the movie to guide the kids. It's great to see their powers. The score is awesome. There's 80s goodness in there, and Freddy is still scary. He's got that humor to him, but he's still scary. And the special effects and the deaths are sick. So it's another one of those movies that you can show pretty much anybody and they would love it. I think this fits much better than A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 into that Halloween lineup. Arguably, Dream Warriors could take the number 1 spot, but I have my reasons for making the number 1 must-see/show Nightmare on Elm Street movie during the Halloween season, the original A Nightmare on Elm Street. The number 1 reason being, it is the iconic film that started it all. So during your Halloween marathons, when you're watching all these different movies and you're seeing the original Halloween, of course, we love the sequels, but that original is just so iconic. Same with a lot of other horror movies. The original, the one, the famous one, here it is. And that's what the original Nightmare on Elm Street is. It is the iconic one. Freddy's super dark in it. He's different, but he's still super dark. The difference can be forgiven because of its classic nature. And of course, we've got the fearsome, the fiery Nancy Pants, who is the bomb diggity in the original Nightmare at her most fearsome. Love the booby trap scene. Love her iconic quotes. Heather Langenkamp's hair is so big, and that is terrifying to a lot of people. I mean, have you seen how much care people put into their hair? Waking up with hair like that would be a nightmare for some people. Plus, it's got Johnny Depp in it, the iconic Johnny Depp, his first starring role in that film, so it can make for good eye candy for somebody who's not a horror fan, or is a horror fan. And the score is chilling. The story is chilling. The deaths are chilling. Beautiful death performance by Amanda Wyss. And like I said, it's just plain iconic. And there's a reason for that. And so Nightmare is a beautiful film. And I mentioned New Nightmare not being shown because of its philosophy, but A Nightmare on Elm Street has the philosophical elements to it, but at the same time, it's still more so a horror film than New Nightmare, which New Nightmare I feel is a drama about horror, not really a horror film. Nightmare is definitely more a horror film. So if you're creating your list and trying to add a bunch of movies to it that are iconic, the original A Nightmare on Elm Street should be on it. So there is my list, or rather ranking, of the A Nightmare on Elm Street films you should consider adding to your Halloween movie must-watch list. You can disagree with me, you can agree with me. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on what you think, and what does your list look like? So let me know. I love hearing from all of you guys about the things you want to hear Elm Street Radio cover. And of course, you know, Paige and I are huge Elm Street fans and big-time Fred heads with all sorts of knowledge on the franchise. So we can talk about a lot, and we know a lot, and we know a lot of people who know a lot, and it would be really awesome to talk to them about just darn tootin' anything. So if you ever have any ideas about what you'd like to hear Elm Street Radio cover, because I actually asked this question on my Facebook and got great response, just let us know with a comment or a message, and we would be more than happy to consider it and even cover it. So, well, hey, hope you all enjoy your Friday the 13th in October, and just have a really kick-ass Halloween season, everybody. Who are you going to be dressing up as? Any Nightmare on Elm Street characters? Would love to see some pictures. All right, Nightmare fans. Until next time, whatever you do, don't fall asleep or eat too much candy.